Oh, baby. Oh, baby. What a difference 24 hours makes for Dub Nation and the Golden State Warriors. Last night, Monty, it was all doom and gloom. We had Draymond speaking, Jimmy speaking, Steph speaking. Team wasn't connected. They got blown out in Oklahoma City. Then they had to go play in San Antonio on the back end of a back-to-back against Victor Wembanyama, Wembanyama, I should say, De'Aaron Fox, Stephon Castle, and the Warriors down 16 points in this game. They rally, outscored the San Antonio Spurs in the second and third quarter, really blew them out in that third quarter, and they go out there and win in the Alamo to send the Spurs to their first home loss of the season. This is the Dub Talk Podcast, always brought to you by Mancini Sweet Roll. I can't wait to get into this one, Monty. Real quick, the Black Friday sale is on now at Mancini Sweet Roll. Get 14 days of deals with doorbusters every single day. Shop sweetroll.com, sweetroll.com. Monte Poole, two-time NBA Award winner, Warriors Insider, Hall of Famer here at NBC Sports Bay Area. I am Bonta Hill. We had some fireworks last night.
Yep.
We didn't know how this game was going to go, walking on eggshells. We saw a change to the starting lineup.
Yep.
We saw an injury, and we saw a win. And we saw a vintage Steph Curry performance, 46 points, 15 and 16 from the free throw line, 22-point third quarter for the Chef. What a show he put on, and he led the way.
Yeah, the Warriors are 7-6 now, and to me, this is the most impressive win they've had all season. More impressive than beating Denver at home, overtime.
I'm with you.
Because of the conditions.
Yep.
You know, you're looking at second night of a back-to-back, looking at how dire things sounded after losing to after not just losing, being obliterated by the Thunder.
Down 36 in that game.
Yeah, and so it's like, okay, they needed to win this game to let themselves know that, okay, you know what? Hey, wait a minute. We can still turn things around here. And so the starting lineup, you know, with Pods and J.K. out, Moody in, Will Richard getting his second start of the season.
I should have made a sandwich bet with you, by the way, about Will Richard.
Yeah, there you go.
I should have got you out of something, Monty.
There you go. No, Will Richard didn't make a big impact in this game, okay? But you can see what he was trying to do because he's starting with guys he hasn't played a lot with.
Yep.
And you can see him different. He didn't take any shots in the first half.
He didn't
Not
take
one.
a shot to the fourth quarter.
Yeah, he didn't take any shots. And so
he made that three in the fourth quarter, Monty. That was his first shot of the game.
That was his one shot that he made. So he was like, you could tell he was trying to feel his way through the guys he was playing with. And in that first quarter, the Warriors weren't very good. And they didn't start to pick up a little bit of steam until back half of the second quarter. And they kind of, they closed the gap, and they were down 7 at the half. And then the Chef got going. And the funny thing is, we've seen it over the years, when Steph gets going, the energy of the whole team picks up.
Yep.
And you saw it in this game, and it was much needed because, let's face it, you, me, a lot of us were thinking, Steph's not quite right yet.
Yep.
He's still coming back. He's still recovering. His shots are short, you know. But when he made 2 threes in a row, it's like, oh, wait a minute. Oh, wait a minute. And then he scored 22 points in 9 minutes.
Crazy.
He's back.
He's back.
He's back.
He's all the way back.
46, man.
I mean, he surpassed Alex English. For all you young fans out there, go pull up YouTube.
Ooh.
Type in Alex English. He led the NBA in scoring in the 80s. Yeah. This is the era that had Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Isaiah Thomas, Michael Jordan, Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, Sidney Moncrief. The list goes on and on and on. Alex English led the 80s in scoring. So Steph Curry is now 23 on the all-time NBA scoring list, right? He's got over 25,000 points. That third quarter, 22-point third quarter, 43rd 20-point quarter he's had. And think about this. Another 40-point game, 46 points, Monty. He's had 43 40-point games after the age of 30.
Yep.
He's one behind Michael Jordan in that department.
Yep.
73 all-time 40-point games. So once he got cooking, it was great because, yeah, you're right. He looked rusty. It's like, boy, what's going on? The previous 6 games, only shooting 33% from the three-point line. But I got to shout out Moses Moody.
Oh, yeah.
Because the Warriors were getting blown out. I mean, without Moses Moody, it could be down 25 in the first half. He scored 14 first-quarter points. We'll get to the starting lineup and some of the changes with the lineup here, but I do want to shout out Moses Moody, who's shooting over 44% from the three-point line to start the season. He goes 5 of 10 tonight, and in that first half, he goes 4 of 6 for 14 points. His shot-making kept the Warriors within striking distance.
No doubt about it, because right in that first half, for most of the first half, they were trying to figure stuff out. And, Will Richard was out there trying to figure things out. But, Steph looked like he wasn't still quite right yet. And Jimmy and Draymond Draymond was trying to deal with Wemby, which is a task in itself. That's
did as well as a job as anybody has this season.
Yeah, people will look at Wemby's triple-double and say, he still got the best. But I look at those 8 turnovers.
Yep.
And I think, you know what? Draymond had something to do with that.
Wemby was 3 of 10 shooting when Draymond guarded him.
On one-on-one, yes.
One-on-one.
Yeah, so I think Draymond did a terrific job. He was plus 15, best on the team.
Yep.
And it tells you his impact on the floor, even though he was 1 of 10 shooting, they were letting him shoot those threes. And he couldn't make one.
I'm okay with that, though.
Oh, yeah. You got to shoot
those
them.
wide open shots. I'd rather him shoot those than pass it into traffic that he had been doing in OKC.
We've seen that before. And we talked about it on Dubs Talk Live. It's like when Draymond doesn't take that shot, he ends up forcing a pass. Mm-hmm. And that usually ends up being a turnover.
Yep.
So you want him to take those shots. He missed all 7 of them, but you still keep shooting them.
Yep.
Because they're going to let you shoot those shots. Mm-hmm. And so and he's making more than 40% going into this game. So it's not like, oh, my God, Draymond Green, he forgot how to shoot. Draymond's not a born shooter. He's a made shooter. And so for him to come out and miss all 7 shots, it's like you shake it off. It's not like if Stephen goes 0 for 7. Steph goes 0 for 7. But if Draymond goes 0 for 7, come up the next day, and if they're open, if they're letting you shoot, lace it up and let it fly.
No, I'm with you on that one. So I'm with you. Warriors outscore the San Antonio Spurs in the second and third quarter 78-56.
Yep.
And when they were down 56-40, through the end of the third quarter, they outscored them during that stretch. It was about a 15-minute stretch. Mm-hmm. They outscored San Antonio 52-28.
Yep.
Jimmy Butler came alive. But we can't go on too much longer without talking about the changes that was made to the lineup. Mm-hmm. Last night, we kind of got tipped off that, hey, there could be some changes. But what we heard from Draymond Green and what we heard from Jimmy Butler and what we heard from Steph Curry, you started hearing about OKC smacked the Warriors up so bad that they're talking about, commitment to the team and personal agendas or whatnot. And so Steve Kerr said it in the pregame presser. There's going to be some drastic changes to the rotation. And what happens? Will Richard starts his second career NBA game. Moses Moody starts tonight. Who goes to the bench? Well, QP, Pods, and Jonathan Kuminga for the first time all season long.
Yep.
And Jonathan Kuminga did not return to the game after halftime due to bilateral knee tendonitis. He was questionable to play. But you could tell that affected him because he was tentative. Now, it could have had something to do with the knee.
Could have.
Could have. But you could just tell he was stinking way too much. And that has affected him. And so, although the starting lineup didn't get off to a rollicking start, they only scored 14 first quarter points. But I like what Steve Kerr said, though. Jimmy needs some shooters around him.
Right.
To create some spacing. And you can't break up the dynamic that Draymond Green and Stephen Curry has offensively.
Right.
Especially off all those ball screens and the split action. So I understand the move. And when you get beat down the way you got beat down, and they weren't playing well in the win against Indiana. Right. Indiana had a lead late in the third quarter. Something had to shake. And I like the lineup. Again, they didn't get off to a great start because San Antonio was doing whatever they wanted, and the Warriors was allergic to getting 2 feet in the paint. 29 of their 40 first half shots came from the three-point line. But you knew something was going to shake here. And now, with the starting 5, hopefully they can get off to a better start Friday against San Antonio. But Pods and JK and the rest of this team, they got to step up and be professional. And JK has to somehow, some way, recapture that magic that he had through the first 5-6 games of the season.
Yeah. No, I'll go back to the fact that Steve started Draymond at the 5. And he's been saying, I don't want to do that.
Yep.
And yet he's back to doing that. And that's why I think this was the 6th lineup the Warriors have used, the starting lineup the Warriors have had this season. There will be a 7th.
Yeah.
There will be an 8th.
Yep.
There will be a 9th.
Would there be 30?
I don't think they'll go that far.
Well, how many was it last year? 38, 37?
Yeah, it was wild last year. But Draymond against Wemby, that's the right move.
Yep.
That's the right move. You ain't going to stop him, but you can bother the heck out of him. And he did. He did. So you take that. And that's why Steve says, next game against the Spurs on Friday, I think we'll go with the same lineup. And I think Will Richard will be better mentally in terms of being engaged to what he needs to do for the lineup to work. Because you're right, Jimmy needs shooters around him. If you got Steph and Moses and Will, you got shooters. And then Draymond, if he's going to be open, He's got to shoot it too.
Gotta shoot it.
So, do I love the lineup? No, because I still think they're small.
Yep.
They're small. But I think right now, Steve Kerr and his staff, they're in a situation where they're like, you know what? If we find something that works, let's ride it until it doesn't work. And so at some point, probably this month, you'll get DeAnthony Melton back. Seth Curry will be part of the team. And so they will have more options. Not that Seth is going to start, but I think if Melton is healthy, he could start next to Steph. And so the question becomes, what do you do? And Steve has been very careful about monitoring the minutes of Al Horford.
Yep.
I still think the Warriors' best lineup, Al's at the 5.
I'm with you.
And so
I'm totally with you on that.
And so the question is, how much can you put him there without burning him out? And he didn't want to start him there because then that messes up the rotation. But I think at some point there will be a lineup where Al Horford is the starting 5. And, if you got Al and Draymond and Jimmy up front, I kind of like that.
Especially in late game situations.
I kind of like that. Oh, yeah, that's definitely got to be your closing lineup.
Well, I have a bet with Kerr Burke that Al's going to start at least 6 games this season.
Oh, yeah.
We have a sandwich bet. So, KB, I like Lou's Cafe. I like Ike's.
No, I think he's going to start. Yeah, I would take that bet that he's going to start at least 6 games this year because and if when they get to the playoffs, there be some starts there too because the playoff schedule is so different,
Yep.
Especially that first round. You sometimes go 2 or 3 days without playing a game.
Right.
So, but back to this lineup, I think it's what they're going to run with right now because it worked in this game. If it works again on Friday, you stay with it. You stay with it until you see cracks.
Yep.
And they play the Pelicans on Sunday. That should be a W.
Should be a W.
Yeah, should be a W. And then you got obviously a tough back-to-back with Orlando and Miami. The good thing is that Miami is the second night of that back-to-back.
Yep.
so
much time to spend on the beach in
right.
South Florida.
Well, yeah. So if I think in the best case scenario for the Warriors is that they win in Miami and they get to enjoy Miami on that night before flying home the next day.
Remember they had 5 days off in Miami last year, right? Last season, I should say.
It was too long.
It was too long. They were having fun. Draymond, Jimmy's playing dominoes, and they got blown out against the Heat. Jimmy's return. Hopefully they can get a win in that game. That's next week, of course. That'll be the second back-to-back on a 6-game road trip. But the Warriors, they had lost 6 consecutive games on the road. You mentioned it. They were in dire need of a win.
They were reeling.
They were reeling. They weren't playing well even in the victories. I didn't think they played well against Phoenix. I didn't think they played well against Indiana on Sunday. To get this win against that team that is young and up and coming, that is a dangerous roster.
Yeah.
And they turned the ball over a lot. They hadn't been in too many close games, and they kind of wilted there in the fourth quarter. And like you said, Wemby had a 31-point triple-double, but the 8 turnovers.
Yeah.
Draymond bothered him. He got physical with him. You're not going to stop him, but can you make it difficult for Victor Wembanyama? So, and that's what he did. Stephon Castle's a problem. And,
yes.
De'Aaron Fox tonight just didn't have it. He was 5 of 14, 13 points, not a factor whatsoever. He turned the ball over 6 times. So I'm eager to see the bounce back. You brought up Al Horford, though. And now it feels like he's getting comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
This is now 2 straight games for Al Horford where he's hit the 3 ball. I believe he hit 4 against Indiana, if I'm not mistaken, and then 3 of 6 against San Antonio. So if you get him rolling.
Right.
But you also, if this team, at least for the meantime, because, look, let's be real, the trade deadline is going to come around. And who the hell knows what's going to happen with Jonathan Kuminga?
Right.
And at this point, who knows what's going to happen with Brandin Podziemski?
Mm-hmm.
We've read the reports. We've heard the reports. We've been around the roster. Pods was up and down tonight in San Antonio.
Yeah.
He was turning the ball over, and Steve Kerr was irate a couple times.
I'm gonna give him a pass on that turnover that he did with Wemby behind him.
Yeah.
Because
he spooked him.
It's like when you're Brandin Podziemski and you're under the rim, and Wemby's right hovering above you. What are you gonna do?
Right.
And so I think 2 or 3 years from now, he pulls back and doesn't like trying to force the issue. But that's what he did, and it resulted in a turnover, and you hate to see it. But I think when you look at what the bench did tonight, the bench had 8 points in the first half. Mm-hmm. They weren't. The Warriors averaged 40 points a game from the bench. They're tied for 5th in the league.
Yep.
And so for them to go 8 points in the first half, I'm like, okay, the bench is not giving them much. But one of the big reasons for that is because their most productive offensive player off the bench has been Moses.
Yep.
And he's in the starting lineup.
He's in the starting lineup now.
So you lose that punch you get there, and so you got to get something from somebody else. And ordinarily you would think if Kuminga's not starting, it's him.
Yep.
But he, not feeling 100% and didn't play at all in the second half, which is when the Warriors took over the game. So
you would hope that series is not injured. Injury is not serious.
Yes, absolutely. You hope it's not, because as long as he's on this roster, they kind of need what he can give them. I don't know who else can give them what he can when he's on his game.
Where do you think his head is at right now, JK? Because we had this debate last podcast, and he's such a polarizing player around these parts. Yeah. Social media went crazy yesterday with the comments.
Of course.
The radio airwaves went crazy. My brothers over at 95.7 The Game was going nuts. 12 games in, I'm thinking to myself, dude, we haven't even got to Thanksgiving yet. We're ready to blow this team up. Like, let's just chill for a second.
Yeah.
But JK got off to a great start. These last 3 games have not been pretty for him.
Yep.
Friday night in Denver, everybody stunk it up. It's not just JK. Everybody stunk it up in Denver, with the exception of Draymond Green making the 5 threes, right? Indiana, he didn't play in the fourth quarter.
Which is when they won the game.
They won the game. Will Richard came in, and Moses Moody and Jimmy Butler kind of took over. But it was not a performance by the rest of the roster. They did not play well as a team. And, of course, in Oklahoma City, they just got smacked up. Jimmy took 3 shots in that game, for crying out loud. But I do wonder where his head's at. He's had a tumultuous offseason. And I think he's done everything the coaching staff has asked him. Hey, rebound more. Well, he's done that. He's led the team in rebounding per game.
Yes.
7 a game.
Yeah.
He's scaled back on the 3-point shooting. He's been more selective with his shots. Now, the turnovers have been the bugaboo. 6 turnovers against OKC. He's got to do a better job of ball handling. Like, his handle's not as tight as it needs to be. Not knowing where to be at times defensively, trying to figure it out, but he has gotten the minutes. What they can't afford is for him, for a couple reasons. One, if they do decide to trade him, Monte, his value goes down if he's not productive.
Right.
So what can you get returned if you do decide to trade him?
Right.
But as long as he's on this roster, and if he's on this roster come playoff time, they need him to be as confident as ever. They can't have the passive guy we saw in the first half tonight. And whether or not that was due to the knee injury or not, I have no idea. But he was hesitant, and he looked like the guy who was thinking too much, Monte.
Yeah. Now, on Kuminga, first of all, he knows that the front office tried to trade him in the offseason. Okay, they were looking for ways to move him. Didn't work out. That doesn't leave your mind immediately. Even when you come back to the Warriors, you come back to a team that was ready to move you. It didn't work out. And so in the back of his mind, he's got to be thinking they will still move him if the opportunity comes up. And you know what? He's right. He is right. And so because when you look at the way the Warriors play and you look at the way Kuminga plays, when he's on his game, it's amazing to watch. But it doesn't always translate to winning basketball. And so there's been too many times in the past when JK, when the Warriors go on a run and he's not a part of that. And so when you look at the next few weeks, if his health is there, you got to give him a chance because he can do spectacular stuff. And again, there are certain things he can do athletically that nobody else on this roster can do. So give him a chance. I just hope mentally, and I think that's what Jimmy and Draymond are trying to keep him going.
Right.
And they're trying to let him know, hey, dude, we need you.
Right.
We need you. Yeah, we know what happened in the summer. We know that, there's all this talk about, whether you would be a back or not, but you got your money and we need you.
Yep.
And so that's the best thing they can do to try and keep him engaged and positive about where this thing is going because it's really for him. If he plays well, it's a no-lose situation.
Yep.
If he plays well, the Warriors can decide, okay, you know what, let's ride him out. Or let's move him. And if he moves, he goes to a place where maybe he gets more run, and he's leading the team in minutes going into this game, but maybe gets more run as the central figure of the offense, which is what he wants. And the bottom line is he knows that as long as Steph Curry is on this team, it won't be him.
Yep.
And he also knows that when Steph's off the floor, they really want to play through Jimmy.
Which is a smart move. But him and Jimmy can have that two-man game. And I think Jimmy really is fond of JK. You heard him the other night saying he's coming over my house for dinner.
Yes.
Before practice, after practice. You cited that when you went to go talk to Steph Curry before the season started.
Yep.
And I don't think what Jimmy said after the Oklahoma City game was a direct shot at Jonathan Kuminga.
No, I think that's presumptuous to think that that's what he meant.
Right. A lot of people were assuming that, hey, JK. Actually, JK was one of the better players in that OKC game in terms of the stats. But obviously they didn't win. They got blown out. And Steph actually took some blame, too, saying, I was out there searching for my own shots as well. And it got us within the offense. That's what leaders do, taking accountability there. Look, he's had moments where he's helped his team win. Wiggins went away for 2 months. He helped stabilize that spot. And I thought he played really well for a 19, 20-year-old where he helped. And they got to the first round of the playoffs. They got that 6th seed, got to play the Kings, but he had a short lease in that series. We don't need to revisit history. But to me, Monty, he's been here for 5 years. It's almost as if he needs a fresh start so he could flourish.
I would understand
because it's
that.
just, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I would understand that.
Everything that's happened.
Yeah.
You know, he's out of the rotation last season. He comes in the second round against Minnesota. I know they didn't win a game.
Right.
But, damn, it wasn't his fault.
Yeah.
He gave him everything he had
right.
in the way he could do it. So it just may not be a good fit, and that happens in pro sports. Some players don't fit with certain organizations. Some players needed to change the scenery. We see it in baseball. We see it in football. We see it in basketball.
Right.
And that's where we may be getting to if he's out for an extended period of time and if his minutes continue to go down.
That's where they were in the offseason.
Yep.
They were like, okay, you know what? Let's try and trade JK and bring somebody in who's a better fit. That's where they were. They could go back to that. They can go back to that because when he's trade eligible, I don't think I'm pretty sure they're already looking at, okay, if he's trade eligible, who might be out there that we can make a deal with that will work for us? Because, again, JK's thing is that he's not a seamless fit with the roster.
Yep.
And that's been even though he's playing, and when he's at his best this season, it's the best he's ever been. And like you said, the rebounding, 7 a game. Right. They ask him to rebound. He's doing it. And he's seeing the floor offensively better than he ever has.
Right.
He's making passes that a year or two ago he didn't even know how to make.
He's making very well.
Yeah. So he's doing all these things that he needs to do to be a better basketball player. But I still think that when you look at the roster, if you're the Warriors, you're like, what are we missing? What are we missing?
Some shooting.
And they're missing, and they're missing size too.
Size too.
You know, and so, you know, when they start in Quentin Post, it's not because they believe Quentin Post is going to be their savior. It's because he's tall and can make shots.
Mm-hmm.
And so they put him out there in the starting lineup a few times.
Yep.
And it may not be the last time, you know. So, and that's why they're bringing Al Horford. Well, he's 6'9" and can make shots.
Spacing.
Yeah, and so that's a big part of this. And I don't think there is a clear path for Kuminga's future. I mean, I think it's still very much up in the air.
Yeah, I'm with you. I listen, Draymond, as long as he's here, he's going to man one of the front court spots. Yep. And you know what Draymond does in terms of where he, you know, sets up in the half-court offense. The real estate he utilizes is at the top of the key.
Yep.
And he's looking for Steph with the split or the ball screens, right? Jimmy Butler, he's going to be if he gets the ball, he's going to be looking for three-point shooters.
Yep.
Well, that's never really been a strength of Jonathan Kuminga's game, and he doesn't want to do that.
Right.
He wants to get downhill and put pressure on the rim. But with that said, where's the spacing? Because teams are going to sag off of Draymond Green.
Right.
When Jimmy Butler gets to that mid-block, there's going to be a help defender looking to maybe double Jimmy or try to keep him off the free throw line. So where does that leave Jonathan Kuminga? And I like what Steve Kerr said, hey, let's try to give him a different look. But now, when you do come off the bench, you have no idea what combinations you're going to play with.
True.
And then there could be a confidence boost. Like, you know, you're Jonathan Kuminga right now, and you're saying to yourself, man, I played as well as I have. I'm rebounding.
Right.
I'm doing this. I'm doing
right.
that. And I'm the one who gets yanked. And, you know, for a young kid, he's probably looking at social media. And he's seeing things that are said, because he mentioned it when he first arrived back to the Bay Area, when he said, hey, look, people get their feelings.
Yep.
So he sees that like, wait a minute, we lose a couple games and I'm getting the finger pointed at me? It's not all on me.
How do you respond when you leave the starting lineup and the team wins?
Exactly.
You know,
a game like that, too, against San Antonio.
You know, you're benched, the team wins. Are you going to be in your feelings?
Exactly.
You know, and
it's impossible.
Yeah, and that's the thing that he has to figure out. if he's a part of the team that wants to win, he's got to go, this is great for us.
But it's also, too, what tonight proved to me. We could talk about Kuminga. We could talk about Horford, Podziemski, the role players. Monty, this team goes as Steph, Draymond, and Jimmy goes.
No doubt.
They're the big boys in terms of
doubt.
salaries.
No doubt.
They're the Hall of Famers.
No doubt.
I know Al's going to be a Hall of Famer, but they're not asking him to play heavy minutes right now. When it comes down to it, Steph doing what he did tonight. Now, he's not going to score 46 every single night, but he has to be dominant.
Yeah.
His fingerprints have to be all over the basketball game. You get Jimmy Butler. He was here to help out Steph. 9 of 12 from the free throw line, 28 points, timely threes.
Yes.
He made 5 threes tonight at San Antonio, one shy of a career high. And then Draymond Green with this defense. And I know the shots didn't fall down, but the Warriors go as those 3 go.
Yeah.
And somehow, some way, we've gotten that twisted. Not us per se, but I think as a fan base, as a community, this team goes as Steph, Jimmy, and Draymond.
No, when they're good, the Warriors are good.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So they're not going anywhere. If those guys play like they did against OKC, they're not going anywhere.
But those guys need support.
They definitely need support.
They need support. And you know, there are a couple of things that happened in this game against the Spurs that I thought were encouraging for the Warriors. One, you know, and Steve Kerr mentioned it the other night after losing to OKC that, you know, they didn't do a really good job rebounding. And OKC is not a strong rebounding team.
Right.
And he said that, you know, they had one offensive rebound in the first half. And tonight they had one offensive rebound in the first half. In the second half, Gary Payton II had 4 offensive rebounds.
2 in that one sequence.
Yeah.
Remember, he led to a Steph 3.
When you get offensive rebounds, it does something to a defense. You know, and
scramble mode. You're all looking around, and Steph Curry gets wide open, and boom, bombs at 3. They go up 9.
Yes. So, and you look at the Warriors over the course of this season, and they're 25th in offensive rebounding percentage. And to me, offensive rebounding is one of the telltale signs of just how hard you're trying. Because there was a point tonight when Kuminga was in position for an offensive rebound, and Keldon Johnson comes in and gets the rebound and goes the other way. Take it back. No,
Stephon Castle.
No, it wasn't an offensive rebound. It was a defensive rebound. And he puts the ball back in.
Yep.
And it's like you can't let that happen.
Castle did that once too.
Yeah, you can't let that happen where you're waiting for the rebound and somebody from the other team comes in and just hijacks the ball and puts it back in while you're standing there. Mm-hmm. And so they've got to be better at that. In the second half, in the first half, they were -7 rebounding. Mm-hmm. Second half, they were -1, which against the Spurs is pretty good.
Absolutely.
So as long as there's certain areas you look for certain effort, and rebounding is one for this team. And when they rebound the ball offensively, like I said, it does something to the opposing defense, but it also gives you it helps you gauge their effort. You know, and they miss Loon.
They miss Loon.
Loon is a top-flight offensive rebounder. They missed that part of his game.
Here's the thing, too, where they're going to need some help. The points in the paint. When you lose the points in the paint by 30, we talk about J.K., who puts pressure on the rim outside of J.K. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
He's not going out there. Now, Moody had a great dunk today. Harrison Barnes he made a business decision, reached. So I was like, all right, Moody, I'm not jumping with you tonight. They got outscored in the paint 52-22.
They're 27th in points.
Exactly.
In the league in points.
And so if you do make a move, that's an area Mike Dunleavy, Joe Lacob, they're going to have to address.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about that.
Yeah.
You know, when you get beat up like that in the paint, you usually lose those games. Second chance points is 27-16.
Man, second chance points.
Fast break, 19-7.
Second chance points, the Warriors are worse than the Nets.
Yep.
Worse than the Pelicans. You know, and so these are things that they have to fix up no matter who's out there.
Yep.
They gotta fix those things up. And so I thought for Gary to come in tonight and out of the rotation, he gets 6 rebounds. Which huge. Ties for team high.
Huge. Huge, because he was not playing well.
No.
And
his shot's still not there.
And he wouldn't have played if J.K. returned to the second half.
Probably not.
He would have still been out of the rotation. Yeah. So J.K. goes out. We see GP2 dust it off. And again, that sequence, 107-101, comes up with 2 huge offensive rebounds on that possession. Steph Curry splashes a 3. They go up 9, and it's like, okay.
Yeah.
They're going to steal this game.
Yep.
And so, look, it's a feel-good win. Obviously, Jonathan Kuminga is an injury we're going to be looking at. We'll see what happens on Friday night. Pods has got to play better, but you got a superhuman effort from Steph and Curry.
Yeah.
Man, 43 40-point games after he turned 30. That's second to Michael Jordan, who did it 44 times. So
he's got 12 since he turned 35.
12
Only person that ties in with Michael Jordan at 35 or over. Only person with more is LeBron.
LeBron James.
And so and LeBron is still going, well, eventually he'll be back. So
nobody has more 20-point quarters since 96, 97.
No. I mean, he's putting them up. So but like you said, this team is gonna go no further than Steph, Jimmy, and Draymond can take it. But for them to get beyond
no doubt
that 40 to 45 win space, they need other guys to kind of hop aboard.
Like those teams that are winning championships or going deep in the playoffs.
Yes.
People got to buy into their roles.
Yes.
We saw that with the OKC, which they mentioned last night. San Antonio seems to have a nice little system.
Yep.
Their role players have bought in to what Wemby and Fox and Castle were doing. Now, Fox was awful tonight. Yep. I expect him to bounce back Friday. And Castle, let's be real. They were up 56-40. I know we're going to wrap this up. But when he picked up his third foul late in the second quarter, that's when his game flipped because he was dominating. He was controlling
They were having a hard time stopping him.
Yes, no doubt about that. So the Spurs will be looking for payback Friday night. But the Warriors snapped their 6-game road losing streak. They don't go under 500. They go improve to 7-6. Boy, it would have been a lot of doom and gloom then.
Ooh, boy, if they lost, yes, it would have been.
But as of tonight and tomorrow morning, when this podcast gets released, cooler heads will prevail. People will be happy. And you can debate whether or not so-and-so could be in a rotation or starting or who cares. They get a win because Steph Curry is still that dude. Monte Poole, nice job, man.
This is one of those wins that just kind of calms the waters.
For now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It could change Friday, but it calms the waters for now. And the waters were really not calm after losing to OKC, after getting blown out by the Thunder.
By the way, on this date 15 years ago, Joe Lacob, Peter Guber, bought the basketball team.
Yep.
And Joe Lacob told everybody that, hey, that banner up there is lonely. We're going to put some more banners up there. It's like, yeah, right, dude. Come on, man. You know what team you just bought? This moribund franchise. Are you kidding me? Like, you had to laugh at that, right? You had to chuckle.
I sincerely didn't. I was like, this dude, good for him to talk big, but, come on, man.
It's the Warriors, man.
Yeah. No. And then those first few years were kind of rough, but then you saw the moves they were making.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, from Rick Welch to Jerry West, even Mark Jackson, you understood why they did that.
Bob Myers.
Yeah. I mean, with Mark Jackson, you understood why they did it because, like, you know what? We need a face. We need somebody that people know.
Credibility.
Yes. And so Mark was the guy who kind of built the defense, got Steph and Clay going, and had these teams, had the Warriors in the playoffs back-to-back seasons.
Yep.
Which they hadn't been in a long time.
Since the early 90s. Well, late 80s, maybe? Man, it's been a while.
So you saw the uptick. But so they made some smart hires, and that's when you kind of figure out. To me, when they brought in Jerry West, I was like, uh-oh. They're serious now because I can remember times before when the previous ownership, when Jerry West was available, and I wrote a column saying, how can you not give this man a call? And one of the people who was in the front office at the time said, why would we do that? And I just said, because he's Jerry West.
He's the logo, man. Well, 4 benders later, a lot of luxury tax money.
Yeah.
New stadium.
Yeah.
Steph helps with that, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
They bought the team for how much? 425, 450?
450.
And it's worth
what, 10 billion? B. 10 with a B.
You talked about going back-to-back to the playoffs. They hadn't done that since 90, 91, 91, 92. Unbelievable.
And now it's like, if they don't go to the playoffs, oh, my God.
Yeah, we 12 games in, and Dub Nation was ready to crash out. Anyway.
Here we are, man.
Here we are, man. What a night. What a night. For Monte Poole, I am Bonta Hill. As always, we got to get some rest, man. We've been going long here. Long day here at NBC Sports Bay Area. Dubs Talk Podcast always brought to you by Mancini Sleep World. The Black Friday sale is on now at Mancini Sleep World. Get 14 days of deals with doorbusters every single day. Shop sleepworld.com. That is sleepworld.com. Mancini Sleep World's Black Friday sale is on now with savings of up to $1,200 on top mattress brands. Plus, for the first time ever, Monty, they are having 14 days of deals starting November the 14th. That's in a couple days, folks. Every single day, they'll feature a brand new limited time deal. Deals on more than just mattresses, recliners, sofas, pillows, and bedding. Everything you need to upgrade your room and home. Only at Mancini Sleep Roll Shop. SleepRoll.com. SleepRoll.com. We're out of here. We'll see you on a pregame show Friday. You'll be with us, Monty.
I'll be in the house.
All right, baby. See y'all later.